All right, guys. This is the Nuff Said Sports Podcast, episode 22. My name is Adam Dickens, and that is Trey Adams. Trey, how was your week, man? How's it going?
This week is very, very busy, and I don't like it. It really fucking sucks, but we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. Sports week. It didn't feel very exciting this past week. I'm not gonna hold you.
I felt that way the week before last, but I
Mm,
do feel the energy of the NBA creeping up. Am I wrong about that?
nah, I feel that. I definitely feel
You
that.
know, NBA had some their what do you call it, photo shoot week or whatever,
Media day.
media day, and then some of teams are starting to practice this week, so it's creeping up. But you dirty dogs, for episode 22, we have some special, some good hyped up content coming up, and we are ready to share it with you guys. I know I feel good about this week's content. I'm not gonna lie to you. So with that being said, cue the intro, fellas. All right, we are back, guys. And you dirty dogs. We are gonna kick it off with the first bit of content, which is NBA, and then eventually we will switch to the most important stuff we got going on, which is the NFL. So go ahead, Trey, lead us into it, buddy.
Kicking off with the NBA, and again, their media day. You know, when they ask these questions, being the press, they ask questions, and of course, they want the juicy stuff nice and early. So Chris Paul with the Warriors was asked, "How do you feel about your current situation and possibly coming off the bench?" Like he hasn't been hearing that since being traded. And his pretty much his comment was, I mean, we're talking about it, we've been discussing it, and he is open-minded to the possibility of whatever the team needs him to do to win. So if that means coming off the bench, sure. If it sounds like they need him to start, sure. I feel like that was a nice way of pushing that question to the coaching, but what's your take on that? What's your take?
It's I'm gonna be honest. My first impression was that it really surprised me. I didn't expect for Chris Paul to say something like that. And my previous reasons for why I didn't think he'd be okay with it, which I still don't think he was. You could kind of see it on his face when he responded. They're like he was holding back. He was being like the professional. We've all worked a job where we say things we don't necessarily mean. We cater to the customer, whatever it is. And that's the face I saw, right? I think that also I was still impressed by it. I was impressed because I do think he means that to a certain extent. Like he will do anything by any means to win. And I truly
Mm,
believe that. I think he was honest about that. But then I also saw him as like the anti Jordan Poole now. I think it's starting to rub off on me, Trey, a little bit. And Jordan Poole was a lot about image and show offy, being fancy, however you want to phrase it. And he's just like, bruh, we got to get this done by any means. If that's what I got to do is come off the bench after having an entire career being a starter, that's what he's got to do. And like I said, I'm impressed. But I see Chris Paul now as the anti Jordan Poole, and that I kind of understand why the Warriors went out and got him. So Trey, what do you? Were you just as impressed as I was? Were you kind of like, yeah, he's just saying shit? Like, where do you stand with it?
I definitely feel like he was pushing the response onto the coaching, but I think that's the appropriate thing to do because that's Steve Kerr's decision. Like, let's be real, he's the one that says this is going to happen. He's the puppet master pretty much in regard and when it comes to the lineups. Um, but I also because I know how Steve Kerr thinks when it comes to coaching and being a fan of the Warriors, I know he mixes and matches his lineups kind of throughout the season. Um, I think he bases it off of who they're playing, if it's a real primetime game or not. I could see Chris Paul starting some games. I could see him pretty much going 41 and 41, starting and then coming off the bench. It really depends on the other team's lineup. And again, I just think it depends on the health of people. Like I can definitely see them mixing and matching. Some games he just starts, some games he doesn't. And again, at that point, it really depends on who's in the game at the end of the game when it matters most. If it's a crucial situation. So I think he did what was expected of him. I think that's what he was told to probably say. But I also think that's how he really honestly and genuinely feels. I do think Chris Paul is in that I gotta do whatever it takes to win. I wasn't in that mind state before because I didn't have the roster that he currently does. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to win a championship. So I think it was the right thing to say at the time.
Yeah, I I understand. How personally, how would you feel if you were Chris Paul? Would you have said the same thing he said? Like you as a person, as an individual. Do you think you'd be like,
Me?
hey, yeah,
Nah, honestly, I'm saying y'all know who the starting point guard is. I like let's be real. He's the freaking top two point guard of all time. Like, come on. You clearly know who's the starting point guard here. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna start point and move him to the two. They can do that, but realistically, you know who's the better point guard. So this is the face of your franchise. He's been here. Come on now. Like realistically, I'm gonna be like, this is his team. I will come out and straight up say, this is your team. I'm just here to do whatever I need to do to win. I would say it just like that.
yeah, I think I agree with you. I also think they're terrified of his defense. I think that's the whole point of having him as a six man because they're scared of his defense. Even last year with the Clippers, when I forgot who were the Clippers going against in the playoffs. I don't know. He was just a mismatch. He was a mismatch on defense, and it looked really bad. And, he got hurt, and the team did a little bit. It was the Sun. It was the Suns, right? Yeah, it was the Suns. He was mismatched on the Suns, I believe. I could be wrong about that.
He played for the Suns. I'm confused.
Oh no, sorry. It was who was it? Bro,
The
I'm
Suns
thinking.
did.
Oh,
The Suns
God.
played. The Suns played. I
Was
want to
it
say they played.
the Nugget? Yeah, it was the Nuggets. It was the Nuggets. I'm sure, bro. I'm in my mind. It's Chris Paul, but I was thinking Westbrook. What the fuck am I doing? Um, God. Okay. Anyways, but I'm scared of his defense. I really am, and I think that they are too, and I think he doesn't have to deal with those mismatches necessarily being the sixth man. And I think that's their ideal pitcher for him. And I think it was cool when he in his younger days to be mismatched because he was a lot more athletic, a lot faster, a lot quicker. But now he doesn't
Mhm.
have that edge, so it really looks bad when he goes to get somebody who's bigger or maybe a little bit slower. Whatever it is, it just looks really bad. Um, yeah, we got anything more on that? You got any more thoughts on it?
Nah, look as a Warriors fan. I hope it works the hell out. But like I said, I trust. I have faith in Steve Kerr. He always figures out how to implement new people. So they'll figure it out.
Fucking bandwagon, fucking Warriors fans, fucking shit show over here. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about some NFL stuff. Puka Nacua is trending right now. He is popular. He is LA's savior. He is the Cooper Cup replacement. And as a rookie,
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't say that on here ever again. I don't want to hear that. I do not want to hear that. But go
has
ahead.
has has he not replaced Cooper Cup? That's it, pretty much.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want to hear that. And I think the rest of America would agree with me on that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If you took Puka Nacua's stats and you replace his name with Cooper Cup, you'd be like, same guy. Yeah, believable. But anyways, do we think that he is legit and long term gonna be really, really good? And I'm not necessarily saying like Cooper Cup good, but do we think he's gonna keep what he's doing up? Because if he does, historically, probably one of the best wide receiver seasons ever. if he keeps on pace for what he's been doing.
Quick thing. Somebody in the chat said it's a lot of mic feedback from Adam. I don't know if that's on my end or not, but I'm gonna turn you down just a little bit.
I think it's on your
Um,
end, but I will move the microwave.
okay. Um, I like the comment you said about the is it sustainable? I do like that. I do like the comparison. If you sit there and said if you take off the name, who on that team, who would you think it is? You would obviously think it is Cooper Cup. I agree with that. I agree. But he's not his replacement. They're going to find a way to make it work together because obviously this kid is a rookie. Cooper Cup, I'm not going to say he's on the tail end of his career because he's not. But I do think they found a way to make it work. And now they got two pretty much number one wide receivers that they're going to have to find a way, or it gives more weapons for Matthew Stafford or whoever else comes in on that team. I do think obviously one wide receiver isn't always enough. And you see that with the with the best teams, the more consistent teams, being like how the Cincinnati Bengals were the last couple of years. They have multiple options. The Bills, multiple options. The best team, they usually have multiple options. And I think now you're going to see that with the Rams because Puka's here to stay. He ain't going nowhere. And you clearly, like I said, the guy is getting the receptions. And Matthew Stafford, he gonna sling that shit. So I could see even when Cooper Cup gets back, they both getting 7, 8 plus receptions, not just targets, receptions a game.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, how do you think necessarily Cooper Cup is gonna? Do you think they're gonna rush him back, or do you think it's just like, nah, let's just ease him back into this because they have their new number one? You would say.
I would say, well, first off, whoever the person is, let me know if the mic feedback is still as bad as what it was. We're playing with those technical difficulties pretty much week to week. I would say that I mean they're not going to rush Cooper Cup. Not because of Puka Nacua. It has nothing to do with him. I think that they already know they're in the rebuilding phase anyway. So there's no
Mm,
reason to kind of pretty much the more they rush him back, the more wins they get, the lower that draft pick is going to be. And so that's not a good thing, especially being a rebuilding phase. Also, think that Puka is a legend, okay, for the fact that he has 500 yards in 4 games. Okay, 4 games, and this man is already pushing 500. He is a quarter of the way already to a 2,000 yard receiving year, and that says something. Now, do I think this pro keep will the pace keep up for the rest of the year? I don't think so, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me because Matthew Stafford has somewhat been doing this thing for his entire career where he has zeroed in on one receiver. And we saw that first off with Calvin Johnson, which granted it is Calvin Johnson. So he is
mm,
supposed to do that. But I think
mm,
he's been doing it for so long that it's became innate habit. It's out of what's the term? It's out of yeah, it's just a bad habit. He just does it. And I think it doesn't matter who it is. He can just zero in on somebody. Also, think there's a magical aspect to Puka Nacua. Somewhat, and I hate to be this guy because I bring up Jeremy Lin a lot, but it's a somewhat of that Jeremy Lin magic where this guy doesn't look like he's an amazing football player, right? Or he's coming out of nowhere and it seems like he's great. Has an aspect to that. But I am definitely rooting for him. I don't have anything against him. I'm all for it. Puka Nacua every week. If we talk about him on this pod next week, the week after that, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, I'm totally for it. I think Puka is. I want the Magic to keep up. What what can I say? It's just a great thing. I mean, I don't see how this is a bad story for
Ain't no damn magic. The guy did it 5 weeks,
Magic.
4 weeks in a row. 4 weeks in a row. At this point, it's like you can expect it now. It's like if he does have a bad week, it's like, oh my god, what the hell just happened, or who was being him type. But at this point, you expect that. And like I said, we know the Rams do throw the ball a lot. They're pass heavy offense. But again, the fact that he's not even just getting the targets, he's getting the receptions and the yards. That's not all. That's skill. That takes skill. So I definitely think it's him. And I don't think it's no. It's a brief moment where it's like, all right, he'll come back down to earth. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I think he's here to stay. I think he's here to stay.
So do you think he'll have a 2,000 yard receiving
I would, I
season?
would, I would say 2,000, but I think the way it's looking, definitely 15.
I I agree. I can settle for that, and that's still a hell of a fucking season. That's Pro Bowl all the
Absolutely,
way.
absolutely.
Uh, but I think what I want to see more, and I hate to nitpick. I'm not trying, this guy's being having successful, but I'm gonna nitpick a little
Yeah.
bit, man. I want to see it translate into more touchdowns. If just I know you don't know right now. How many touchdowns on the season does he have? Tell me, how many
If
do
I'm
you
not
think he has?
mistaken, it's zero.
He has one, and that was from this week's game. So I
That's what I thought.
need
Okay,
more.
so
th-
he
That
he went
and
he went into the week with zero. Got you. I knew it was like a low number.
yeah,
But so did the other guy who was just the number one receiver in the league last year. His touchdowns is low. So, hey, do we not get a pass on that?
dude. Okay,
Do we not get a pass
I
on
don't like
that?
the question. No, you don't get a pass because, and this is how I know I'm not nitpicking or like really just going negative on this is because that's what the Rams need. They need fucking touchdowns. So
Nah,
they
they
need.
need. Oh, so the Vikings don't need touchdowns. They don't act that of Justin Jefferson. They just asked him to do his little cut. He made
Yeah,
gritty here and there, but he's expected to get touchdowns now. But all he usually does is yards. So do he not get a pass? Let alone a rookie. Does he not get a pass for that?
no, because we never gave a pass to Julio, right? Julio was known for
Wow.
having three touchdowns.
So we comparing somebody we never thought of to Julio Joe. Really? That's
What do you
sick.
play the game for? To get as many yards as possible and no touchdowns? Let's be honest. Touchdowns win the game. Your yards don't affect the score of the game. Maybe for field goals. Do you want to play for field goals? We just kicking all day? No. We're going for touchdowns, and this is exactly what needs to happen. Let's be honest. Uh, but yeah, I'm down to talk about them all week. But I think we got more important things to talk about coming up. Uh, my guy, but I'll let you lead the way. Go ahead.
Oh, my shit froze. Look.
Your phone?
Yeah, shit stupid. Yeah, your guy, all right.
your
Yeah,
hey, your phone. That's your brand new phone that you
it
just
didn't
bought.
freeze. It locked. It locked. It locked. This shit is fire. I don't care what nobody say. Fire. Anyway, um,
This man got a diary for a phone. He got a notebook. Notebook. I need my notebook. Good.
your guy, Mr. Justin Fields, had a great first half. Perfect. Everything. You thought he was about to have his career game, which I still would say was his best game of his career. And then he reminded us of why he's on the Bears and why he sucks ass. Um, the Broncos playing horrible defense, and Justin Fields was definitely taking advantage of it. He looked good and everything. But what do you think happened to Justin Fields during that game that he collapsed at the end when they needed him most?
I don't think he collapsed, but what I do think is that I think he did enough. But what didn't do enough was that
Enough for what?
the Chicago Bears defense. He put up four touchdowns and 330 yards. Now we just
Mm-hmm.
complained that Puka needed to put up some touchdowns. Okay, but now we're talking about a quarterback who put up four touchdowns and all the yards in the book. He did everything possible to win this game. He literally Matt Ryan this game, pretty much. and he didn't come out with the win. And so now, we give an A for effort, but if we're being realistic, he didn't get the win. So it is what it is. I also think that when he feels the heat, he feels the heat, and what I mean by that is similar to Zach Wilson, who we'll get to in a little bit. Is his back is against the wall, and he hears that stuff about him getting fired. I mean, not fired, but benched, or then moving on to trading for another quarterback, and how bad he was doing the previous weeks, and how we keep hearing that Robert Saleh is losing the team, and all these other things. He hears that, like the ESPN's on in the locker rooms, like they know what's up, and when you start to hear and feel that stuff, you really ain't got no choice but to fucking play good.
Mm.
But shit happens. He balled out, and I'm not gonna ask for more than that because shit, this looks a lot better than what it looked like a few weeks ago. But again, it is the Broncos' worst defense. It is the same defense that is the Broncos' defense, the worst in the league. Okay, the same defense that gave up 70 points. I'm gonna bring it up again. The same defense that Sam Howell put up 35 points on them. Like so, I'm just happy that Justin Fields had a good week. Probably not going to keep this up. We kind of get it at this point, but give this man his props. 28 points, 4 touchdowns, 335 yards. Give it to the man. Give him his props, and he did it on your team.
And you know why you and him get this? Because he did it on the worst defense in the league. If you didn't have a great game, not a good game, if you didn't have a great game against the worst defense in the league, that means you shouldn't be a starter in the NFL. So only thing you showed was you can be a starter for a decent team, possibly. But or you can be a quarterback in the NFL at that point. Because again, I don't think you're a starter. I think you could be a backup, but you could be Tyrod Taylor Jr. But that's the best you're going to get at this point. So again, I don't necessarily give him any credit for this. You were supposed to do this. You needed this. You needed this game to even show that you are a quarterback in the National Football League. Because if not, you was going to be booted to freaking Canada, the freaking Arena Football League, something. You was going to be unemployed, my guy. So at this point, you did enough to keep your career going, and that's why you don't get any props for that. No, you do not.
I feel like we're being a little bit unfair, just a little bit, because he gets bashed when he plays bad and he loses, but he also falls out and loses, and we still bash him. I'm just saying, like, let's take some baby steps at this point. Like, I get being hard is the hot thing on him, but give Justin Fields a chance, man. Like, I get it. It's probably gonna be the same shit next week and the week after that, but for now, it's a good week being a man who was high on Justin Fields coming in the offseason. But with that being said, the Bears aren't the only team that melted down. Miami, the the Dolphins were fish out of water, if you want to say that, against the Buffalo Bills. And just I called it. I fucking called it. That this Miami team was not going to play good against the Buffalo Bills. So how do you why do you think this happened? Why do you think this meltdown happened against the Buffalo Bills? Um, this was my favorite game of the week. I literally stopped because usually I got a whole bunch of games playing. I zeroed in on this. So why do you think this happened?
They got the two. They stopped the run, which wasn't really established in the first place, and they put pressure on Tua. They definitely put pressure on him.
Who they stopped the run?
No, the Bills. I'm sorry, the Bills stopped the run.
The Bills didn't stop the run.
They did.
AJ balled out, cuz it wasn't the same game, the 70-point game, but he is good. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. Okay, with you.
They didn't do what they normally would have done. They don't rely on the run. They rely on their passing game, and they rely on getting the ball out and the play designs. That was not the key here. They tried to, but again, they got to Tua. They pressured him as they needed to, and again, he got rattled. The defense was definitely energized for Buffalo, and again, they did what the hell they needed to do to pretty much disrupt that offense completely. Um, Let alone again, A Chain is not the he should not be the running back right now. He should be the running back moving forward, but right now he should not be the running back. He shouldn't be.
Bro, get the fuck out of town right now
He
because
should not be.
you're fucking with me right now. I'm gonna use some common white people phrases. Gee Willikers, you're fucking up right now. Okay, you fuckity fucker. Okay, you are fucking up. Have you seen Chan? He must be called Chan. Have you seen this man run the ball? It is very similar to Isaiah Pacheco. It's very similar in the super energy. He almost makes people miss tackles. It seems very magical too. Like his balance is great. It almost seems. I'm gonna be honest, man. He's probably in my top 15 of running backs right now. You really give this man a chance, but don't come from my man HN. Okay.
That's like saying Jameer Gibbs. We had the same conversation about Jameer Gibbs a couple weeks ago. We know he should be the starter, but right now, when you put him on the field, again, he had that one great game against Denver. And again, he's not the go-to starter. And I think that's for a reason. And then you come in as the backup and then you outshine the starter. It kind of shows it that maybe you can be the starter, but again, that's not the game plan. And I think that's where in some ways they got to be able to say, okay, we're handing the reins off to you or we're not. But I think that whole again, I think they're in conflict. I do think they're in conflict a lot right now with their running game and trying to have a good amount of mixture of balance with that. So again, that's some things that I think they need to figure out before the playoffs actually comes because if they happen to run into this in the playoffs, obviously that will be an embarrassing take at the end of that at the end of the season.
But they're going to keep running into this because we saw this last season, and I don't think Miami has been challenged like this yet. To where we saw what stops Miami. Okay, last year, what stopped Miami? So it was concussions. Okay, and
Mhm.
you link that to literally keep getting hit. The pressure was onto it. I watched the game. They only got 4 sacks. The Buffalo Bills got 4 sacks on Tua. But I'm gonna be honest. It
It
looked a
definitely
little.
feels like more. Exactly.
I thought what I was surprised when I looked at the stat sheet because I thought it would have been eight sacks minimum, 8 sacks minimum, and you apply that. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, get pressure on the quarterback and win, but they did something else. They kept putting up points and pressure. They put pressure also on the defense by keep putting points up. They really went to their main guy, Stephon Diggs, huge game, 3 touchdowns, and that created a lot of nonstop pressure that I think the Miami Dolphins defense just cracked after that. And so that is what you got to do to beat the Dolphins. And if you can do that, which granted that Dolphins offensive line has been better than it was last year, but if you can get to him, you can put pressure on opposing defense on the Miami defense. That is the golden ticket to beat. If we're being honest, and I'm going to take it a step further too. The penalties killed the Dolphins a lot.
Mhm.
Absolutely killed them. Eight flags for damn near 100 yards. It was 98 yards, but damn near 100 yards. Way more than what the Bills had. That's gonna fuck you in the end too. That's like the sprinkles on top of the cake. That's gonna fuck. Like is what
Let's
it is.
let's let's also throw in there because I feel like this holds a lot more weight than people actually think. Is it's a division game. You know, it's an opponent that you have to that's familiar with your offense. They see you, they know you, they know the ins and out pretty much. And you're in Buffalo. So again, they did what they were supposed to do, be in Buffalo, and won that game. I did expect Miami to win. Um, but again, I just think division games hold a little bit more weight because you even see. I'm gonna throw this out there. They like how the Eagles responded to the Commanders. I think when you play a division game, you just the usual weaker team, they play a lot better because they're more used to that team. They're familiarized with that team. So again, I do think that holds some weight here. But I mean, that blowout was just it was definitely like, okay, are y'all gonna respond at all? Y'all just gonna let them walk all over you? Like I said, Stephon Diggs, we was not expecting that from him. I would definitely say that we was not
Well,
expecting that.
I agree with what you said. Going against division rivals does factor. I don't think you can use the Eagles example just because the Eagles been in a close fucking game all 4 weeks. Like they're I don't know what's going on with them. That's a whole nother topic for another day. But like they're close games every game. So, but I understand what you're saying. I get it. Trust me, I definitely get it. Um, we're gonna take a break from the NFL content for a minute because I wanted to bring this up before back to the NBA. What the fuck did you think of the Jimmy Butler? Uh, Tonight's the night that I'm gonna kill myself. Like his punk 2000s rock emo look for media day.
At this point, he's just doing stuff just to do it. Like it's for him to sit there and perm his hair like that is fucking beyond crazy. And that's all you saw on social media was that damn was that damn video all over social media. Even ESPN had to share it. Like that's how bad and funny it was. Because if you haven't noticed now, he's back to the braids, dreads,
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
So it's like he literally did that just for media day. Even freaking Bam Adebayo couldn't even stop laughing. Like if I had to sit next to him with the earrings and everything, piercings in, it was like, dude, what are you doing? Like
I thought I'm with you. I thought it was hilarious, but I have a theory. I have a theory. Jimmy
oh
Butler's
boy.
a lot fucking smarter than what we all because we talked about that, right? But you know what we didn't talk about? Damian Lillard not going to the fucking Heat. And I think him doing that took the attention away a lot from those conversations. And we didn't even think about it because that was literally the biggest topic for the last 2 months is the trade from Portland to Miami and how that's going to work and the pressure that Dame put on. Instead of having those subjects come up in media day, it went right to Jimmy with the funny hair and like reporters are giggling. Like it literally took the whole attention off of that and it was like, to that instead of, oh, Miami missed out on Damian Lillard, so your season's over with, or you're back where you were, or Tyler Hero, like him getting pissed that he was subject to being traded for 2 fucking months, and then he doesn't trust the team now. Like I, I just think it's super smart. I it might not have been it, but I'm pretty sure because that literally did that exactly to the team.
Oh, look, it's somebody trying to avoid a conversation. Look, and just for the person in the chat, I'm gonna make sure we talk about this. What them Cowboys did to them damn Patriots. Y'all see how he tried to run away from the football conversation to avoid talking about his team getting their ass whooped? How about them Cowboys?
Oh my god, man! Hey, you know how embarrassing it is? Like, how many times does Mac Jones have to get fucking benched for Bailey Zappi to just be like, Mac Jones isn't the quarterback anymore? Like, why do we have because this kid's from Alabama and Bill Belichick likes to give fucking Nick Saban blowjobs in the fucking offseason for his players that we got to sit through this couple of seasons of mediocrity fucking if it's one fan base I hate more is the fucking Cowboys, okay? And the fact that they blew us out, and I got to see this all week. Like I've had it. Okay, I moved a few months ago. Okay, here's a little story. Moved a few months ago. Well, my old neighbor, who I really don't fuck with because he's a sleazeball. He's also a Dallas Cowboys fan. Uh, text a friend. Okay, this has been months I've moved. He texts an old friend of mine who lives in the same neighborhood who doesn't fuck with him either. Like he don't even like respond to like his text most of the time. Oh, I wish Adam still lived here. I could talk about how we beat their ass. Like, bro, nobody even fucking likes you because you're a fucking Dallas Cowboys sleazeball fan and you're a fucking no life. So like, it pissed me off, man. I was beyond. I'm fucking over this season anyway. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. That's how I fucking.
And this guy had the balls to sit there and say this was not this was America's team game, and it was just like, what are we talking about here? Don't get me wrong, I will say I was hoping for an upset, but realistically, deep down, I was like, there's no way the Cowboys are going to lose this game. After what just happened to them, there was no way they were going to lose this game. So I'm
Well,
definitely, yeah.
I was hyped. The Patriots coming off a fucking win. I thought we had a chance. I'm like, Dallas Cowboys just lost to the Cardinals. There we go. We got some momentum going, and things are going our way. And then we get fucked, like three-way fucked by freaking Cowboys. Like it realistically, like we don't have a chance, and it's really bad, and it's gonna be even worse because just because of Bill Belichick's defense, we're gonna get fucking 5 wins, enough to take us out of getting a nice first round pick, and we're back to the same situation next year and the year after that. But that's just me being doomed.
The mediocre quarterback
Let's go back
from
and talk about
Alabama.
let's go back and talk about Russell Wilson and the fucking Broncos. Okay, let's do that. All right, go ahead. Let's
But
go
then
on to
speaking of Wilsons, we're not going to talk about Russell. We're going to talk about the other one that looked like he was competing and going back and forth with Patrick Mahomes.
we're gonna talk
Zach
about
Wilson.
Wilson. We're gonna talk about Wilson from Castaway and Tom Hanks. That's what we're gonna talk about. We're not talking about fucking yeah. But
How Zach Wilson was going back and forth. Well, not even back and forth. How he outshined Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes obviously finds a way to get the dub. Um, do you at this point, if you're Salah, Coach Salah, do you continue to ride with Zach Wilson based off what you saw, or do you look into that free agency pool, or do you try to make a trade? What's your take?
say your questions one more time.
Do you based off what you saw from Zach Wilson, do you keep him, trade him, or trade for somebody a veteran, or um or go into free agency and try to grab somebody? What do you do?
I mean, I don't see why this is a fucking question. Just because we were ready to ship Justin Fields off, but even after he had a good fucking week. So same thing goes for Zach Wilson. Ship his ass off too, because this game was the best scenario for the Jets to get a win. You had 2 touchdowns. Okay, how many weeks do we see multiple touchdowns from Zach Wilson? Okay, not that fucking many weeks. Okay, now that's the plus for the Jets, right? The second part of the best case scenario is fucking Patrick Mahomes throws multiple interceptions, 2 interceptions in a week. How many times do we see that? Fucking damn near never. Okay, so that is the best case scenario for the Jets, and they still couldn't pull it off. Their defense played obviously good because you got your 2 interceptions, and damn near was just they. It looked bad at the first part of the game, and they whatever. Kansas City kind of folded in the second half, and they finally pulled it out. So I mean, I just you got to ship them off because this isn't gonna happen again. This what it looked like to me was the Jets week 1 against the Bills. Okay, that's what it looked like, and then Kansas City's loss week 1 loss to the Lions. It's almost like those week 1 teams kind of came back to what they were, and still the Jets still couldn't pull it off. That's honestly what I was. You got to ship them off, but I don't know. I think they should have been got a different backup even before Rogers got hurt. But go ahead.
I definitely think he needs to change the scenery. I've been said that before the season even started. I think at the moment you got Aaron Rodgers, you just benching him and saying develop and all that crap from the bench after you just started him. I don't think he needs to change the scenery. I don't think he's a good fit for um, Nathaniel Hackett's offense of just standing in the pocket, um, type of quick reads. I don't think that's his style of play. I do think again he's more comfortable from the shotgun and being in pistols and all that. He's more of a mobile. He's more mobile than Aaron Rodgers. So again, you trying to change his game as we saw Nathaniel Hackett does with his quarterbacks because the only quarterback he ever had or was is good with is Aaron Rodgers. That's what he has. So I think a change of scenery is needed. But at this point, like you said, we're kind of a quarter into the season and you kind of don't really need to start fresh with somebody new. So you might as well just ride with them and just see what the hell it happens. But we kind of know where that's going to end up. It's sad to say it, but he needs to change the scenery. I do think he can be a starter elsewhere.
I, I, I mean, I agree. I don't get how. To me, even Zach Wilson, I went back and watched it. It still looked ugly. Like he made the comeback, but it still almost made the comeback. It still looked ugly. Like it looked. He looks like a little boy trying to play a grown man's game. And so
He,
I mean, huh? It's true.
he,
He looks like okay. If me, whether it's my son or your sons, went out there and played football, and me and you were being dead ass serious and like 100%. That's what it looks like. Zach Wilson playing. Like he looks like a little boy out there playing. So I mean, trade him, whatever. I still think that this team is recovering from the thought of not having Aaron Rodgers because everybody didn't think of this scenario of him being hurt and being out for the season to come back. I just that part was hard. Uh, but I think that we should move on from this topic. Actually, no. One more thing. I think the Zach Wilson thing is going to keep going. You want to know why? Take a good guess. Take a good guess. You know it too. I see the look in your eyes. Do you know? Because he goes against the Broncos fucking next week. So we're gonna see Zach Wilson ball out like we did last week because he's going against the worst defense in the damn league, and we're gonna see it again. And this is gonna be another fucking question next week. So there you go. You know you get a little preview. So still think it'll probably be a tight game, and Russell Wilson might pull it out in the end. And then we're talking about Russell Wilson he's back to
come
normal.
back season, baby. Fuck out of here. You thought.
Anyways, man, let's go ahead and preview this Thursday night game. We have Bears versus the Commanders. By the way, before we really get into it, did anybody say the feedback on my mic is better? It's not.
Yeah,
So
you're good. You're good.
okay, cool. But yeah, the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Hancocks. What are we? This is a womp womp womp. Like it's not a good nice game. I mean, I think it'll be somewhat competitive, depending. But again, Justin Fields is topic of conversation. We have him going against the Washington defense. How do we think this game is going to play out?
If the Commanders play anything close to what they played last week, this game is going to be a blowout. Anything close to that. If like last week, if they was 95, if they could play a 55, it's going to be a blowout still. Like they're a hungry grit team. I like how they play. I think Sam Howell showed that he can lead this team to again their division is too tough. So I'm not going to overreact here, but he can lead them to some W's. And I definitely think Chicago is not going to be the person to not keep that going in a way. I definitely think they're going to lose, being the Bears, and I definitely think the Commanders are just going to run over this game. They could go get fucking Shane Falco for all we care and win this game. I think they definitely steamroll this game easy, and I think they're going to get creative and just start experimenting with their playbook against this Chicago team at this point.
You know what? You were wrong last week when we picked uh, the Miami Buffalo game. Guess what? You're wrong this week too. Okay, this is how I know, and this is what I'm gonna base my prediction on. Okay, first off, I said you cannot count this Eagles game with the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you
Yes,
want to
you
call them.
can. Yes, you
You
can.
can't because the Eagles have just they're not at 100%. They're not consistent. They're struggling to win these games, even though they're winning the games. Congrats on the W. It is the W versus the Commanders. Okay, but every game the Eagles have been has been just like that. And it's going to be the same thing this week for the Eagles in weeks to come. So I don't think the Commanders are going to be great. They're not. This is what they are. They're going to be a struggling offensive team with a decent defense, and their freaking number one corner rookie is going to keep getting freaking blown out the water like he did by AJ Brown last week. What's the cornerback for the Washington Commanders? What's his name? The rookie. Um,
Uh, the rookie, on top of my head, I can't think of his name.
hold on, give me a sec.
It's not thinking. You got
Forbes,
you got
Forbes, 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 the
four.
rookie. He got burnt by AJ Brown, like burnt toast, and it's gonna happen this week too by DJ Moore. You tell me you don't think that'll happen 2 or 3
Who?
times? DJ
Who?
Moore, DJ who did DJ Moore?
Who? Fuck
Disrespectful,
out of here.
okay?
Fuck
Disrespectful.
out of here.
Time out,
Fuck
time
out
out.
of here.
All
Fuck
right.
out of here.
DJ Moore is gonna make that man look like burnt toast just again. He's gonna have a hard couple weeks. He's undersized cornerback that just can't keep up, and he is a little bit too aggressive on double moves, whatever. Um, but also, the second part of this is Justin Fields, and I'm saying this, okay, not because I'm the hardest believer in Justin Fields, but I remember last year when Justin Fields won that game in the rain. You know, the game where he was sliding in the rain on the field, and he went on this incredible hot streak. Okay, I can't remember how long the hot streak was on, but it was like a 2 to 3, maybe 4 games, and he was on a hot streak. Some quarterbacks are just like that, and I do believe Justin Fields is like that. Eventually, he'll regress to the norm, but he's gonna go on a hot streak just like he did last year, and that happens with people, and that's exactly what's gonna happen with this team.
You are fucking bananas.
No,
You
I'm not.
really
No, I'm
think
not.
Justin
Because
Fields is garbage? He's
he
fucking hot garbage.
he's garbage because his fucking coach sucks. His coach is gonna get fired soon. I'm not saying he's not. I don't think he's the obviously amazing player, but I do understand that a quarterback like the position that he's in, being super young, the two coaches he has are terrible. That have been terrible. The defense sucks. The offensive line sucks. A lot of it just sucks. And I think a win like he had last season, sometimes a young quarterback like that needs just a little bit of confidence. And then like maybe I'm the same guy from Ohio State, and I can keep this fucking going. That's what he needs, and it will spark something.
I have one question. This one question would tell me everything I need to know about how you completely feel about Justin Fields. Justin Fields or Zach Wilson?
Justin Fields. Good Justin Fields. I
I'm
swear to God.
I can't. I can't, y'all. I can't. What?
Yes, that's a fact.
You're crazy. You're fucking crazy. You're
You're
fucking
just
crazy.
saying, okay, how about this? Daniel Jones or uh, Justin Fields?
Daniel Jones. Absolutely Daniel Jones. Absolutely Daniel Jones.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, why are we doing
Why?
this podcast? Why? Okay, okay, that's it. We'll finish on that note. Enough said. This has been it. Enough said.
That is an upset moment.
Trey has said everything he has said. Enough said with this conversation. With that being said, guys, make sure you check out dreadstock.com, our lovely sponsor, along with Signers Wave, who did the intro song for this. I'm going to put a Dreadstock commercial just for you guys at the end of this video. Make sure you check them out. I'm sure if you DM the Instagram page for Dreadstock, you can get a promo code, give you 10 to 20% off depending. Make sure you hit them up, check them out. They're a wonderful company. If you have locks or protective hairstyle, keep the hair lint free when you're sleeping at night. It's a wonderful product. Check them out. And with that being said, guys, we love talking to you, entertaining you every week. Trey, you got any last words?
Yes, do not listen to him about anything about Justin Fields. Other than that, please follow on all social media platforms. Continue to these reels that we are getting about to be putting out here definitely more consistently. We're doing having some technical issues on our side in regards to scheduling, but we're figuring all that out, and we just need again you guys to continue to post and share as much as possible. We got some big things coming up for you guys, and we look forward to it. So yeah, at this moment, just continue to support, and we'll make sure we do the rest for you guys.
Justin Fields. Justin Fields. All right, guys. Enough said. We out. Peace out.